Love you. So if we don't have the sun, we do not have life on this planet. And we're discovering with all of this light therapy coming on, even red light therapy is no replacement for the rays coming down from the sun. And in ancient times, there wasn't always a guarantee that the sun was going to come back up in the sky. And so at this time of year, it was a time of rituals. It was a time of having gratitude, of lighting candles, of lighting fires, and praying the sun back up. So that's where we sit right now while everybody's running around like chickens with their heads cut off. The very, very important time of year. Now, on top of that, there are a lot of alignments happening. I'm not going to go over all of them, but this is like a spiritual turning point. That three-eye atlas yesterday was the closest to Earth it could ever be. Could almost be thought of as like the Star of Bethlehem that was pointing out Jesus when Jesus was born, when the sun was reborn. Um, but it's also conjunct. The moon and sun are sitting right together at their lowest points on top of the galactic center at 27 degrees Sagittarius. And the galactic center is a supermassive black hole that is pulling galaxies into it faster than we could ever think about, right? It's also, and some people think of the galactic center as like a portal bringing new cosmic codes in. They're also talking about with Three-Eye Atlas. Now, all of the sun and moon are also conjunct Venus, which is the feminine energy in the sky. It's also our desire nature, our passion. And it is conjunct all of those. A dwarf planet called Varda, Varda. And Varda, which is something that I just learned about, um, was the queen of the elves in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. And Varda, with her husband Manwë, created the universe. And these were the elves that got on the gray ships and had to leave Middle Earth, right? But these are like the king and queen of the elves. So Varda was said to have birthed the entire universe through her womb, through her vulva. She birthed it, and she placed the sun and the moon and all of the stars in the heavens around the earth in our galaxy. This elven queen of the elves, elven energy. And she was called the kindler of the light of the stars. He kindled their light so that they could shine. And when we think of, we've been doing a lot with stars this fall, obviously, is the star bear. But when we think of the light coming from stars, it's millions and millions and trillions of light years away, reaching our planet. So she actually created this light within the dark womb space of the dark void of space. Within those places, they call what are they calling them? It's not the dark web, but it's the blackout spaces. So these also, because they're the elven energy, they're connected to the rebirth of the elemental realms and our connection as humans to the elemental realms. So we have these great energies. There was the Bhairavi who is, I follow, she's Eastern Indian, and she just wrote a whole like treatise on in Hinduism how they took away the birthing through the womb and the vulva and replaced it with this patriarchal version of it. But there's these alignments happening there with Mahakali and one of her aspects birthing the universe right now. And that's all lining up as well. So next year, all of these big major planets are going to be in new signs. So we can ride along and help add our intentions to this great birth cycle. It's happening. The mother is in labor tonight as we speak. It's when labor is happening and when all these prayers and the baby is being sung into being. And that's when children used to be born in a lot of indigenous cultures and even in the Norse culture, the community would come around and sing them into being to welcome them. They would had special birth songs for each individual that they would carry throughout their life, and then they would sing those songs. So we can sing into being whatever we want to birth into our lives right now as well. So the Mother's Night comes from the Norse, and it was originally a time to honor, it's honoring the mother. So the mother is never these big, like fancy goddesses. There's a queen of the elves, but the maternals are like Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, um, and our ancestral mothers and our spiritual mothers that go all the way back through these mother lines. So if you have, what I'd like to do is take a few minutes and go around the circle, and everybody can just say a few words about a maternal aspect or archetype or their own mother or grandmother or aunt or somebody that they haven't known that might be in their bloodline, and it in their spiritual lineage that they want to add to the circle tonight to call them in, because we're going to be working with all of them because they're all here waiting for us to just call up. So I'll start first, and then if people just want to unmute and go through. I asked you to get like a pure white candle that hasn't been lit before, and we can, after we call in the mothers, or if you want to jump up and get some of these things, you can. You don't have to have all of them. And then I asked you to get some water, because putting water on an altar space, it's going to, all our energies tonight are going to go into the water. Then you can take that water and use it to anoint yourself, or you can keep it in a little bottle to use throughout the year. So this was a glass bowl that my mother always had on her coffee table in her living room. And so I filled that with spring water. And then we're going to spent to get like some juniper, but I found, wow, I have one stick left. I found some rose. This one stick of rose incense was calling me. It's actually Isis rose incense, and it said that the rose line, the Magdalene line, the Mother Mary line goes all the way back to Isis. And my mother's maiden name was actually Rose. And there was like Dutch and Scottish mixed in there. We're going to have some rose incense. And then I'm calling in my namesakes. So I have this would be like my great great aunt, whose name was Josie, and she homesteaded as a single woman out in South Dakota in the early 1900s. She went out and homesteaded and got her 5 acres from the government along with her sister. And they built their house so that half the house was on one 5 acre plot and the other half was on the other 5 acre plot. But they ended up with 10 acres total. And that was a pretty brazen thing to do in the early 1900s. And then the story goes, she fell in love with a Montana cowboy and ended up in Montana. And then she ended up traveling all the way west into Washington State and settled. And then I have my great great grandmother, Johanna Boig, who gave birth to three sons and was pregnant with a little girl, and she ended up dying in childbirth. Her sons were begging their father to call in the country doctor to help their mother, and he refused to do it. And so she and the baby died. And I didn't find this out until just a couple of years ago. Not we never It was never talked about in the family. So I'm calling her in as well because her name is on my birth certificate, and the Josie is the one who I'm named after. So why don't we just go to the next person, and whoever you would like to call in this evening, just unmute yourself. Um, Norma, I'll just call you out. Norma?
Okay. Am I unmuted?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm calling in my maternal grandmother, Laura Morris Glenk. She was more like a mother to me than my own mother ever. She was
Mhm.
um, of Scottish, English, Irish descent. Her family before she was born ended up in Nova Scotia, and then she, as a very young woman, came to this country. Um,
Mhm.
she married a professor of metallurgy turned dairy farmer from Germany, my grandfather. My mother was their only child. I have no clue how they ended up with her. She was nothing like my grandmother, but my grandmother helped me through early childhood right up until the year before I got married to my first husband. She was my friend, my teacher, my confidant. She was
Mhm.
the rock. Everything that a grandmother should be: short, squat, ample boobs for three people at least.
Like Earth Mother.
Oh, the Earth Mother, and then some, and the sweetest,
Yeah.
kindest, most amazing person ever. And she, with my
Oh.
6 foot, 7 foot grandfather, she was barely 5 feet on a tall day, and he was 6 foot 7, and yet they were the perfect couple. They were together. They were my real rock. So she's been with me.
Oh, we call her in.
She's been with me in spirit. She dances in the sky as a beautiful light form when I
Oh.
where she's there. So we're calling her.
Okay. Next. Julie.
I am calling in my mother, who was always my rock and my intuitive. And even though she's a pain in the ass, she was always there for me and still comes by and still's around. And I was going to call it my grandmother because she's very similar to what Norma's was, but I'm thinking don't want to muddy up the waters and just keep it clean with my mom.
Okay. Well, we're all connected. We're all connected with a thread, so you can have multiple.
She's here. Her picture's over there. So
Cool. Okay, Elaine.
Yeah, I'm gonna call in my mom too, Ellen Ann Gigi Bolognese, who is my rock and
Mm.
also visits quite frequently. I miss her very much, but I know she's here.
Oh, welcome. Stathia.
So I also am calling in my mom. She was a great mom. She protected me from my dad. She was just amazing. She passed away on April 10th of 2023, which was a really
Mm.
bad year for me. And I still kind of feel like I haven't really mourned her properly. So
Oh,
I'm calling
oh,
her in tonight.
oh. We'll honor her tonight. And as we're doing this, you guys, I said to bring like a shawl, like the shawl, it's like a grandmother's shawl. The shawl is worn by a lot of female shamans and medicine women and women across the ages. And it's like having the mother's arms around you, like just cozied up and cuddled up. And as we call in all these amazing women, we can just feel their energy around us. So, Becky,
Cool. I'm calling in my mom, Dorothy Mary Pulicario Pullinger. She has been in my meditations as a voice, a giggle with another woman who is somebody I don't know, but probably goes back ancestrally because my mom is with her when she comes. And this woman that's coming in is a healer, a a rock, a stoic lady who has given me some of the most incredible messages in the past 2 weeks. The one
Wow.
that tells me, slow down, go to bed. It's 7 o'clock at night, go to bed. I don't know who it is, but she's somebody with my mom. So I'm calling my mom to come in with her. And then I'm calling in Our Lady of Guadalupe. And I put that post up
Mhm.
in about her and her mantle and the stars
And
and
the stars again.
the music. And so if anybody wants to read it, it's in Our Way of the Rose. And years ago, this picture, it is on a piece of wood. It's super old. It was hanging in a crystal store I used to go to, and it's her, and it was up high. And I when I walked in that store, I saw this picture from way far away, and I went up to the owner and I go, I don't know where you got that picture, but something called me to that. And last year they closed down, and that woman called me and gave me this picture. So
Oh, wow.
being that we're close to Our
Oh,
Lady of Santa Barbara, Our Lady of Guadalupe is for all the Hispanic folk here. And I don't know, she that mantle in that song is still with me. So
hmm.
I'm going to call her in for protection and for guidance, please.
Yes. And the stars on her mantle.
Are,
When I lived in New Mexico, I mean, she's everywhere. You
right.
can't go anywhere without seeing her. And,
Yeah.
there's legends about her being like Mary Magdalene that managed to make it across, you know, she's very special.
If you can play that piece of music and the symphony piece that's on there, I mean, when I played it, I, I don't know. It's like I've
You,
heard
s-
it before or whatever. I don't really
yeah.
know, but there's something incredible. And she has been in my guidance I found her several years ago, but I've seen her now, and that music kind of calls to me. So anyway, can hardly wait
Yeah.
to for tonight. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for bringing her in, Becky. And Terry.
So I'm going to bring in my mother, but also my grandmother on my dad's side. My mother is from Scotland, England, but my grandmother on the other side is from Italy.
Mhm.
So by bringing the two, I'm bringing different elements. My grandmother was from
Mhm.
my dad's side was definitely um, fire, and my mother was much more ice. But my mother was
Mm.
the person that opened up the doors to healing and to all the esoteric teachings that I've been taught over
Mm.
over these years. So I want to respect that and I want to honor that and thank her because I never did when she was
Uh,
alive.
uh, thank you. And Mardell.
I'm kind of like I don't even know what to say. Like when you said to get a picture, it's kind of like I wasn't really close with my mom. Um,
Mhm.
so in a way, I feel like maybe I should call her in to try and help heal that. Um, and her sister, my Aunt Helen, um, she was my godmother, and she actually was a person that tried to like let me experience joy and some happiness
Mm.
and um, learning about makeup and being a girl.
Yeah, sometimes other women step in to be the mother to do the things for us that our mothers can't. Um, and I think we all probably have mixed feelings about our mothers in a lot of ways. So you're not alone in that, definitely. And you can just see who shows up as well. And, you might be surprised. My mom died in 2021 or two, and I wasn't being able to be with her, and I wasn't in contact with her for a long time, but she just came in about like 2 to 3 weeks ago, like hardcore. And it's like she did a bunch of healing on the other side and is strong and realized a lot of what happened. And she's coming in to really guide me now. Things can change when they're out of body. So, just leave it open. And you also obviously have other ancestors. All of our ancestors, we wouldn't be here without them. And we're kind of like their dreams embodied. So that's how I look at it.
And then maybe Aunt Margie, who was like the matriarch
Mm,
family, and I think Mary Magdalene.
good. Great. Thank you. Thank you for bringing in Mary Magdalene as well. Okay. Melissa?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to leave it open. I didn't have a lot of women educators. All the women that I know now have been the ones to
Mm,
help me, guide me, lift me up, right? I had a lot of male figures that were um, more parental than female. So I think I'm just gonna have to leave it open and see who shows up.
yeah. And you can always just call on, goddess figures as well, too.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, Liz, she's awake.
I'm here. Thank you. Thank you for hosting this.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna bring in both of my grandmothers. Lois on my dad's side, roots in Norway, potentially connected to indigenous Sami.
Mhm.
Very fierce. Um, very early on, taught me the power of saying no and being very independent as a girl and very strong. And just really soft, but sort of quiet independence and fierceness. So that was a big deal growing up with that really strong influence in my life.
Mhm.
And then my maternal grandmother, Harriet, who passed away just 2 years ago at 99 and a half. And we really became friends in the last 10 years of her life. And I really got to know her as an adult, which was pretty special.
Mhm.
She was maybe 5 feet tall and the a giant to thousands of people in terms of just a really incredible human, high integrity, also extremely independent. And I guess both grandmas sort of paved the path, like there's nothing you really can't do. And, you know, if any of these men try and get in your way, like good luck to them, kind of a thing. So I feel very grateful for their influence in my life, and both really enormous animal lovers. So I also feel grateful for that teaching. So I'd love to bring them both in.
Ah, so we have this huge circle of some amazing, amazing, strong women, and I don't think we talk about them as much as we need to, and realize, who we have that have our back, that are holding up our backs as we go out and face the world. So, what we're going to do, if you need to get up and do a quick bathroom break or something, we're going to go into the journey, and we're going to go back into our sacred forest, but in the winter time. And we're going to go visit the archetypal, way, way back original mother figure in her cave. And we're going to visit with her for about able to see her. And then we're going to meet up out in the forest again. Okay, so I don't know, it's probably going to be maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes of a voyage. So you can get comfortable if you want to lie down, if you want to turn off your camera. If somebody can't hear me, just please unmute and say something. Okay. Um, and in at the end, you might want to have like a journal and a piece of paper together. Um, at the end, we will light our candles. We'll come together and come out and light our candles all together. Okay. So I am I'm actually going to turn off my camera so I can get comfortable. Okay. All right. So you have your phones turned off and so whether you're sitting or laying down, you can close your eyes or lower your eyelids, whichever feels most comfortable to you, and just start relaxing your body, letting go of your day, and watching your breath. And take a big, deep breath in through your nostrils. Feel your chest expand, and then let it out through your mouth. Take another big, deep breath in through your nose. Fill up your lungs. Down, filling up your pelvic. And pause at the top of your in breath, and then let it all out through your mouth with a big sigh. Releasing anything from the day to day, any worries, concerns, your to do list, and just come into your body and start watching your breath going up and down at its own pace. We're going to feel our shoulders relax. You might want to turn your head around in circles and loosen up your neck. Feel the skin around your eyes relax and your forehead. Feel the tension drop out of your jaw. As you let one more breath out, move your attention down to your shoulders and allow them to either fall back into the couch or chair where you're sitting, or roll them around a couple times each direction. And then follow your breath as it fills up your abdomen and your solar plexus. And feel your diaphragm relax on the out breath as you exhale. Feel your pelvis fill up with air and then allow that to relax. Allow your hips to relax and your thighs that do so much work supporting us and moving us through the outer world. Just allow them to come to a place of stillness and follow the energy down to your knees. You might even take your hands and rub your knees a little bit if they're cold. The knees have a hard time in the winter time with the cold air. And then you might roll your feet around. If they're on the ground, feel them rooting down into the ground. Otherwise, allow them to scrunch up your toes tight and clench them, and then release them on the out breath. Your whole body is in a nice, relaxed state. When you feel your feet again, look down at your feet with your inner eyes and see them standing on the ground. You might have shoes on, you might be barefoot. For this winter journey, it might be good to have shoes on or boots. And when you look up, notice the type of ground they're standing on. Is there snow underneath? Are they on gravel or dirt? And then allow your inner eyes to move from your feet up towards the horizon and notice the environment around you. And we're in the winter, but there's lots of different environments on the planet in the winter. So just notice what you see, what kind of trees you see, bushes, if there's snow on the ground or not. If it's cold, feel the temperature of the air against your skin. Is there a wind blowing or breeze? And what do you hear? Do you hear water? Do you hear the wind in the trees? Do you hear birds? And what do you smell? Are there any smells that come? In the wintertime, the winter, there's that smell of snow in the air before it even starts snowing. Like you just know it's coming because of that certain smell in the air. Or you might smell pine trees, evergreens, only trees left with a big, beautiful green needles on them. As you look around, you see a path leading kind of up the side of a hill, and we're headed on our path back into that sacred forest that we visited before. And so start walking along the path, and instead of the dragonflies and butterflies we saw in the springtime and the summer, you might notice something that's in the winter, like snowflakes whirling around in little breezy eddies that are kind of guiding you. You might even see some crows out there or some turkey vultures flying around. We get turkey vultures down here in the winter. And just follow the path, and you're going to come up to kind of the edge of a cliff or a butte, and you see the sacred forest down below you, spread out in a valley with the mountain ranges on all four quadrants. And it's going to look different now because it's in winter time. So again, you might see lots of conifers, or if it's a hardwood forest, just the bare branches of the big oaks reaching up towards the sky. You see a path leading down into the valley, and you take that path, and down at the bottom of it, where our nettle bramble was to find the gates into the forest, you notice there's just a dried up nettle brambles that have snow that is piled up and drifted among the dried stalks, creating little hollowed out places for the rabbits and the voles and the little mammals to crawl into to sleep and take cover during the winter. You kind of push things, the dried plant matter away, and you see the gate up ahead. And it's very visible now because there's not all that greenery covering it. And there might be some frozen ice along the top of the gates or along the wall. But if you take your finger and point it at the gate and draw that 7-pointed star in the middle of the gate, and as your finger moves along the lines of the star, they like turn into fire and melt any frost that's there. And after you've drawn that star, the gate slowly creaks open, allowing you entrance. And as you step in, there's frost in the air, and it's twilight. Sun is low in the sky, nearing sunset, but there's enough light so you see little sparkly rainbows flickering off the snowflakes that are blowing through the air. And you might see icicles hanging off of tree branches. The path ahead of you that we followed may have a slight dusting of snow on it. You can look to see if there's any animal tracks that you might follow. And because it's winter, we're heading into the north quadrant. And the north quadrant is bordered by a big, steep mountain range. And if you look to the north, you'll see these peaks covered in snow. And we're going to take this path that leads up into the foothills of this mountain range. If you look along the range, you may be able to spot the eagles, maybe even a condor flying, the birds of the north that guard that northern frontier. Follow the pathway up through the woods and up into the foothills, through the hardwoods of bare trunks. You might even notice as you're heading north on the northern slopes of any little valleys you head up, they'll be covered with the spruces and evergreens, and the southern slopes will be rocky, and it will be where a lot of the herbaceous plants had grown, and it may just be covered with some snowdrifts. If you look up into the branches above of the hardwood trees, you might see nests from the birds left behind during the summer. And as you walk, your feet crunch into the frozen ground, making that crunching sound, snow and ice beneath you. And the deeper you go into the foothills, it starts to become darker. So as we head up a little valley, and that becomes tighter and tighter. And you may see a few dried bushes sticking up out of the snow. You might even find a dried rose hip or two on them. The further and further up we go, we get into deeper and deeper snow. The type of snow that you think you may be able to stand on top of it, but when you put your boot on it, it falls through and you're like a foot deep up to your knees, and ankles. And as you look, as we get up into the valley we're following gets narrower and narrower. And if you look up onto the slope, you'll see large branches of conifer that kind of separate into a small clearing. And you'll see a rock outcropping on the side of the hill. And amid those rocks, there's a dark hole that looks like the entrance to a cave. So as it's getting colder and darker outside, we make our way to that cave entrance to to gain some shelter. And as we step into the cave, at first it's even darker, but there's this twinkle of little lights, of little fireflies that fly beside us, lighting up the tunnel of the cave. So we follow them down its rock walls. You can smell the dampness, and it actually starts feeling a little bit warmer than the air outside. And as we go along, we start to see light ahead flickering on the walls of the cave, like flames or fire that flicker back and forth, creating shadows. And we realize as we come around a corner that there is a small fire burning in a cavern that we come to deep within this cave. And in this small circular room, there's a small fire in a shallow fire pit right in the middle of it. You feel the warmth and move towards the fire. And as your eyes adjust to the dim lights, as you look through the flames, you see a figure sitting there, squatting, tending to the fire. This is the ancient archetypal mother figure, the ancient mother who tends the hearth and keeps the hearth fire going. She notices you as you're standing there, and she takes her hand and gives you a slight gesture to have a seat down on the ground across the fire from her in her temple. And so we're going to sit down and let her see what she has to tell us. And as we stare at her through the dim light of the fire and the smoke, we notice that she may even be shape-shifting a little bit. And if we look behind her, there may be some other figures standing behind her, possibly even the sky bear that lives in the cave with her. We will sit with her and allow her to impart some wisdom and blessings to us. See what she has to say. And thank her for whatever blessing and message, and for allowing us to spend these few minutes with her. And know that you can always come back to this cave and continue. But also thank her for her presence tending this fire deep in the earth. This fire in this cave is corresponding to the fire within each of us that we carry all the time. Like fire that we hold in our hearts, and the ministerial fire, our Ming Men that sits between our kidneys. You may even bow down to her, thank her, and she gestures that it's time for you to go. But before you have a chance to turn and go, she reaches down into her small little fire that she so carefully tends, and she picks up a small ember out of the coals without it burning her. And she hands it to you and places it in the palm of your hand. And you realize it's just warm. It warms you, but it doesn't burn you. And she tells you that little ember is for you to take with you to warm up and to keep your own fire going, and the fire of your ancestral lines and your maternal figures. So this ember is like a seed ember that you can take from this ancient maternal figure deep in the cave of the earth. And we're going to start making our way back out of the cave, back to the outside world. We go down, back up the tunnel, and the warmth of the fire disappears behind us, and we're left with the little fireflies lighting our way. We can see the entrance to the cave up ahead as the light changes because it's become dark outside. And as we get closer to the door of the cave, we can look up because it's on the side of a hill. We can look out and see the dark night sky on this darkest night of the year. And the whole entire Milky Way and stars are glowing back in the sky. And as we look down eye level, we notice this group of shadowy figures has gathered outside the mouth of the cave. And as we again adjust our eyes to the new light, we realize these are all women in front of us. Some we may recognize, some we may not. Some may be our blood lineage, some may be spiritual teachers and spiritual lineage. But they're women whose has their presence and living their lives has allowed us to be alive right now in our life. And we are the answer to a lot of their intentions and prayers that have allowed us to be right here, winter solstice in the year 2025. So they open the circle to us, and we walk up to the circle carrying this small burning ember from the ancient archetypal mother who's given us this gift to light our own fires with. And we notice that there's a small fire pit that's been laid in the middle of this circle of women. So we take our ember and kneel down and place it into this small, shallow fire pit that may already have some kindling laid there, so that small little flames start to catch, and we start our own fire in the middle of our circle of women and ancestors. And then we feel a greater presence, and as we look up, we see the feet of a different type of being. She is not quite human. And we follow our eyes upwards and see she's wearing these flowing, beautiful robes. And we follow the robes up, and we realize she's almost as tall as one of the oak trees or the spruce trees. And we're kneeling down on the ground and we're looking up at her face, and around her head is shining this beautiful, beautiful yellow golden light like a halo. And we're looking at Varda, the queen of the elves, standing there, and she's gazing down upon us, sending us this just beautiful, compassionate, loving energy. And our love and blessings are showering down upon us, our little fire we just lit, and our whole circle of women. She reaches down with her fingers extended, and she points at a white pillar candle that's standing next to the fire. She points her finger at the wick of that candle, and a spark of light, like a falling star out of the sky, lands on the wick of the candle, and it bursts into a beautiful white flame, so bright that the light illuminates the entire circle of all the women and the entire clearing of the forest, until we can see behind our circle of women into the trees and into the plants. We realize that all the forest creatures have come up and gathered around our circle. So we see little eyes, we might see bunny rabbits or fox, deer, stag. There's bears, there's birds in the trees, and they've all crept up close, forming their own circle of animals around us. And there's a large eagle that comes down and perches opposite Varda, staring her right in the eye as she welcomes all of the creatures of the forest there, so they can bask in her energy and then light from the candle. And we're going to spend a few minutes in this energy, this beautiful lit up grove with Varda, the queen of the elves. As the candle burns down, you may have had conversations with some of the ancestors there, the animals, or with Varda herself. We realize as the candle burns down, the animals and all the other little creatures have slowly backed away and crawled off to their little houses and their little holes in the ground and their little caves to stay nice and warm for the rest of the evening. And as we look around at the circle of ancestors, some have wandered off, some may have brought us gifts or introduced themselves to us, reintroduced themselves to us. And we can always come back and visit with them. But soon they, one at a time, end up wandering off, and Varda herself has left and gone back into the dimension of the elves and the little people. And we realize we're sitting by our little fire we started, which may be burning pretty good by now, and our white candle. And thank anyone who showed up for you. And look around at how much light one candle flame illuminated, and know that that fire and the ember you received is relighting the light within you that you carry within you everywhere you go, no matter how dark it is or where on the planet you walk. You have that candle, that light within you, and you have all of this support in the other worlds, in the other realms walking with you, whether it's the Queen of the Elves, archetypal mother in the cave, or your ancestors, and all of the forest creatures and birds. And realize that making this connection now, you can always come back to this place. So we're going to start making our way back out of the forest. And if it feels right, you could pick up the white candle that's burning and carry it with you as a lantern to find your way back to the gate through the dark winter night. But you realize as well that the stars are shining so brightly that you don't even need any light to be able to find your way. You go back down along the path, down out of the foothills and into the valley and down towards the gate. We may have some friends that are walking with us, finishing up conversations. We may have some animal guides that have shown up as well. They're following us, making sure we get down to the gate safe and sound. We may even see some of the little forest winter fairies and sprites dancing through the tree limbs. When we reach the gates, we set down our candle if we've brought it with us, and we pick up ball or coach or anything we left at the gate. And we prepare to leave. And before we leave, we turn around one more time and we thank everyone who showed up for showed up for us tonight, and any blessings we received from them, and honor and the connections that we made anew. And we know that they'll always be here waiting for us to return whenever we need to. We step across the threshold through the gates. And it creaks closed behind us. The star, the secret opening disappearing into the stone. And we make our way back the path to where we started. We start noticing our breath again in our bodies. And we find the place we're sitting down. We start feeling our breath in our bodies, and we start wiggling our toes and wiggling our fingers, and realize that we're not in a cold forest somewhere, but we're back in our rooms, sitting on our beds or couches or chairs. We start feeling our body and maybe rubbing our hands together and rubbing our hands on our arms and coming back into this reality, back into our physical body. Mhm. Feeling our breath moving in and out again. And whenever you're ready, you can flicker your eyes open. But before you do, remember any messages you received. Go over them in your head so that when you open your eyes, you can take a pen and paper and write them down right away so you don't forget them. Just know that every time we make this connection to these special places, to the sacred forest, that it strengthens your own personal connections to the wild places. So the next time you go out into a real forest or your backyard or for a walk in the snow, you can sit down somewhere and just go back into that space and call your newfound friends in to see if they want to come visit with you. Just know that you may just want to continue this journey in your dreams tonight, or some of the people or animals may show up in your dreams because this is the dreaming time of year where our dreams are the first step towards developing a seed, our intentions that start forming the seed that we want to plant of something that we want to see germinate and grow come springtime. Sometimes we're not even sure what that is, but we may have some visuals. We may have a feeling in our body somewhere. We may have been given clues tonight as well. You guys want to come back on and join, you can. If you want to just drift off, you can. But while we're still in this magical space, if you're able to, take out your white candle and a lighter or match. Mm, mine smells like spruce and pine. And light your candle that's in front of you, so that you carry that ember that you received in the cave that lit the fire from deep within the earth, combined with the starlight from Varda, who lit the white candle with her stars. And it's the meeting of heaven and earth in this flame that sits in our heart. We can keep it going through these next 12 days of Yuletide. Just light your candle for a few hours, an hour at night, and you can go back into the sacred forest as we get messages from all of these wonderful animals that surrounded us there this evening. This candle is your connection to that world for these next 12 days, this liminal time. Ah. And if anybody wants to share anything, you're most welcome to.
Well,
I know Norma has something.
it, it,
This is
it was really interesting because even though this was winter when I first started on this journey, I was standing on a field of moss and with
mm,
weeping willows, which are among my very favorite trees on the planet, with weeping willows huge all around. Then
oh,
I started to go up when we hit the crest of that hill and looked down, then everything was covered in snow and it was pretty deep. And as I looked,
mm,
just before I started down, I looked and there was an Arctic fox, a white wolf,
mm.
and a snowy owl who started to guide me. And I heard my grandmother's voice saying, "Follow us to the warmth and the light." And I went, and that's when I went into the cave.
Wow.
And my grandmother was there, and it was really interesting because, this beautiful, ancient mother said, "You need to know that Laura was sent to you to start your journey in this lifetime. She taught you what you needed to know to grow strong.
Mm,
Then Sheila took over, and suddenly my teacher, who I been able haven't been able to communicate with for almost 15 years since she went into sudden dementia,
mm,
but had taught me for 20 years and was like the single most influential person in my life. She was there and she said, then Sheila took over your advanced studies. Now you are both your teacher, you're both the teacher and the student. It's up to you from this point on."
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's like a review, almost like a graduation, Tim.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then
Um,
all these animals, I mean, it was just, well, for me, it's always animals first anyway. But when that Arctic wolf, and they were all white and they were like glowing,
ooh,
glowing.
wow.
And then that snowy owl came. It reminded me about 3 years ago, I was at a Lowe's, and when I walked out into the parking lot leaving, there were a lot of people gathered and they were looking up, and I looked, and on top of the roof of the Lowe's was a snowy owl
Wow.
just sitting
Wow.
there. I stayed there for
Wow.
about 30 minutes and I got some photographs, from a distance, but he just sat
Wow.
there and just looked and never moved, just was like surveying the whole thing. And then finally he said to me after about 30 minutes, he said, "Okay, it's time." And I knew it was time to leave, and that was it. And that's what came
Um,
to mind when the snowy owl appeared. It was really pretty moving. So yeah, it was good.
oh, good. Yeah, owl medicine is really powerful. A lot of owl medicine.
I
An
couldn't
owl.
believe the snowy owl on top of the freaking lobes.
That's wild. Yeah, no, that's when it grabs your attention. Well, Tom was at work in at a gatehouse at a community in Boca Raton, Florida. I get this phone call from him and like I pick it up right away and he's like, I am standing here staring at a bald eagle perch on this tree in front of the gatehouse. He said he tried to get like a picture of it, but then he knew it was like as soon as he did that, it like took off. But it was like when a bird shows up in this just unlikeliest of places, you stand at attention. You know, there's a message there. So wow, that's beautiful. Does somebody else have anything they want to share? Questions, things to carry with you.
Yeah, everything.
It's Are you able to? Well, well, I'm going to be picking the first card for our animal messages tomorrow.
So exciting.
It's exciting. Yeah, it's we have some other people joining us from the circle I was in last night too. So yeah, I think it'll be good. It'll
Well,
be
I
good.
cleared my calendar of all clients and everything for the next almost 2 weeks and said,
Good
nope.
for you. Good for
And I
you.
started setting an intention about a week ago to let go of everything and everyone that did not serve me. And it's weird because I almost never have recall of my dreams, which is kind of weird. I would think I would, but I don't. Little
Yeah.
snippets here and there. The last week and a half, oh my goodness. I mean, big, big stuff. And I remember every bit of it. And every bit of it has led to today. I was able to finally get rid of these two male energies, males in the human, in the flesh, who have just been so needy and so wanting to do
Mm,
energy. And I've just totally severed with both. I've let go of everything physical and emotional. I feel so freaking
I've
light. It's wonderful.
I've actually, yeah, I've actually fired a couple clients, referred them to other, because I woke up, was it like last Thursday, and I had 3 appointments or 4 appointments scheduled. The middle appointment, I just, the thought of going over there and trying to get to their condominium just made me sick to my stomach. And I'm like, I'm not, why am I doing this to myself? Absolutely not. And so I said, listen, I can't, it was like it was going down in the most claustrophobic downtown Miami area where they put up all these buildings. Their building doesn't even have guest parking. It's always like a gamble to even find parking. And then to get up there, and this woman has these 4 1-year-old Shih Tzus that she all got from the same litter. And the
Ah,
last time I was there, they were like running under the couch and just peeing under the couch because that's where they could go to pee. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I gave her the number of a clinic to call. I'm like, call these people up. They'll be great for you. Yeah, there's a big sorting out happening right now, big time. So, which is good, which is good.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
have met
And
a
I'm
friend.
like upgrading a ton of stuff too.
And I just had this conversation with a friend who I was thinking about her this afternoon, thinking, I really need to call Crystal. We need to get together sometime next couple of weeks. And 5 minutes later, she called me. So, and she happened to be in like 5 minutes from where I was. So we got together for a late lunch and whatnot. And I made the comment to her, she feels stuck and yada yada. I said, you've got to finally close that door You cannot
Yes.
eat on both sides of
Yes.
the floor at the same
Yes.
time. You've got to close it. It's so
Exactly. The
confusing.
straddling, like, and I think we've all been straddling a lot of things in our life, and the time for that is like done, especially next year. The things are going to be moving really, really quickly, and we can't have one foot in one thing and then another foot in the other and expect to, we'll be split in two, and
You
that
can't
you
go
don't
in
want
a
to be split in two.
direction. You can't go in
Yeah,
that
it's
direction.
like being drawn. Yeah, it's like being
You're
drawn in
stuck because you
quarters.
can't move in
Yeah,
either direction.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, if we
So.
live long enough, we learn all these.
Yeah, it's interesting. Lots of interesting things happening. I had a dream last week. This is crazy. I do a lot of lucid dreaming though. Well, one dream I was in Tibet, like we're on these roads where they have those like big giant trucks over there because the roads are just like gravel piles anyways and rocks and like traveling through it was so crazy. Tom was with me, but we were just like in this super rugged place. But then I had a dream that I was actually doing mushrooms in my dream, and I was starting to actually hallucinate in my dreams as if I were on mushrooms. So that's a first, to be actually hallucinating in the dream, seeing all the colors. It was in full color and everything else. It's like, oh, I'm tripping on mushrooms while I'm dreaming. I haven't said that to myself. There is this other world that's pretty real compared to where we are now. So, yeah. Anybody else? I hope you guys are all planning some downtime over this
Yep.
holiday season.
I'm going to be going
Yeah.
to visit the monks that are walking in
Oh,
peace
oh,
across
where?
America.
Oh, I
I'm going
didn't
to,
know that was going on.
yeah, they're walking in peace across America. They're going to be in Montgomery on
Hmm.
Wednesday,
Are they Tibetan
Tuesday.
monks?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can.
Cool. Maybe
I
that's
can.
why that's coming up.
I'll share them on the in the group if you want.
Well,
Um,
thank you for
Yeah,
sharing
please.
that, Carrie. I saw that today. That was beautiful. It was just what I really needed to see this today. Thank you.
oh, good, good. Yeah, so I'm going to go see them in person today. I took a photo class, how to work my new cameras and stuff, and I took that
Oh,
specifically because of going up there to see them.
We will expect more.
oh, awesome. Yes. So
Thank you.
then you have to send us pictures.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I
Oh,
just felt called to them. It came up on my Instagram, and then it came up,
okay.
and it was really weird because they came up on my Instagram. I had 3 friends on Facebook that sent them to me, and then I go on to TikTok, and there they are, the
Hmm.
first video that comes up, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting it from all these areas. I don't care if it's the
Yeah, you better
algorithms,
listen. You
it,
better listen.
but that's something to me that's important. That to
And you can
go
get transmissions from them. I mean, just being in
exactly.
their presence and in that, because they're in that just nice equanimity and that
Well, and they have
compassionate
their
state.
dog that's walking with them.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's what
Oh,
drew me to them.
cool.
And their
Oh,
dog,
cool.
yeah, it's been amazing. I've been following them now since October,
Oh
and
my goodness. Yeah, share it please in the group. Yeah,
I
that
will.
would be
I will.
cool. Very
So
cool.
I felt compelled to tell that to you guys now. So yeah,
Awesome. So are they going all the way across the whole United States?
yeah, and
Or
they're going to end up at Washington D.C.
oh,
And they started in
well,
California, and they're ending in D.C.
oh,
And
oh,
But
for peace.
the
yeah.
first thing I thought of when I saw that, Terry, was I hope they're feeding the dog properly after all that walking.
Well, in Houston, Texas, a car just hit one of the monks and the dog, and
Oh,
they all had to be going to the hospital just to
Oh
be
my
checked out and
God.
stuff. They were all totally fine,
wow.
Wow.
and I'm like,
Wow.
well, if that isn't amazing just in itself,
Yeah.
but what was more amazing was how many people came out to sit vigil outside the hospital.
Oh, that's
Oh, wow.
and
That's nice.
And I thought, of all places, Houston, Texas, for to
Yeah.
have a vigil come out for them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that spoke a
But
lot.
there's different. Yeah, things are all shifting. The energies are not what they used to be in different places
Yeah.
geographically.
So
It's
I
all
thought that was
shifted.
interesting. Yeah, because that was when I
Yeah.
found them first, was when they were hit by the car and
Huh.
everything was
Oh,
happening.
interesting.
So
Interesting. Well, that's cool.
yeah, but yeah, they're Tibetan
Very cool.
monks, and I'll send pictures of them to you too, Josie, because you might be able to know who they are, where they're from,
Hmm.
more so than me. But
Yeah. But that's the thing that I mean, it's like going on pilgrimage in a way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yes,
very nice. Cool. Yay. Yay. So, anybody else have any shares or anything that speaks to them? Maybe
Birds,
birds.
bunny, a giant rabbit up close in my face, like up close where its nose and mouth were doing giant. And I don't remember, those were like the two that I remember, but I got so warm at that fire. I mean, I'm in a room, I'm barefoot right now, and it's cooling down. We're getting ready for a little bit of a West Coast uh, what do they call them? Atomic storms, whatever they bring in all the rain. We're buckling down
Oh,
again for another one of
oh
those. And so it
boy.
cooled from 87 degrees to today it was like 58. And I could just feel
Wow.
the difference that I'm barefoot. And I was cold, cold. And I got in that cave and man, my whole body from my head to my toe. But this bunny rabbit was like in my face making
Wow.
this, yeah. So, and I could see
Yeah,
the
they do
teeth
that thing with their nose and their
and their
teeth.
teeth.
Like,
Yeah, I could see all that
yeah,
going on. And then I think it was the eagle probably from, was it Varta? Is that her name? But
yeah,
I think it
Barda.
was
Yeah.
her eagle or some bird was really up close and personal. And then I saw all these heads, couldn't tell faces, but my
Hmm.
message was this is where it's warm. You know how to get here. And and I mean, things
Yeah.
were in my personal space though, really, but and not in a bad way, just like something up big
Hmm.
and close, like a big ass bunny rabbit. Man, this thing was giant. I mean, its head was giant, and it was there. I could see everything about it. But
Rabbits, you should look up like rabbit medicine because they're very well, there's for obviously like fertility there and abundance, but there's a very soft, sweet energy about rabbits too,
mm,
you know?
yeah, it
Yeah.
was it was it felt fine. It was not bothering, but it was super warm. And man, when as soon as we walked out of that cave, I felt the cold on my legs,
Oh,
on my feet. So
that's
yeah,
funny.
it
I did
was.
too when
You
you
did
say
too?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did too. Yeah. Of how so yeah, so and that's a good reminder, but as the collective and the chaos going on again, we can always find warmth and light where we need to. It's just like those monks walking across the states is kind of that's the same kind of message. We can walk in peace even if we're in the middle of a battlefield going on, whatever's happening. And we don't need to take it ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I had a snowy owl guide me in too. Yeah, it
Oh,
was really, really cool. I was
cool.
surprised when Norma said that. So that was really cool. And it must have been the theme of burdens. So my messaging was all around releasing the burdens, and I must go alone to reconnect with myself. So seemed to
Hmm.
be right on
Mm-hmm.
par.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, all connected in this, so that's not surprising.
Mhm.
Apparently so. Yeah,
Right.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the owl. Actually, I have a when I went when I went to Harry Potter, I had to buy with the snowy owl, this the Harry Potter snowy owl puppet. He's sitting up on one of my shelves back there too. So a snowy owl.
Oh, that's
All
weird.
right. Hmm.
I just realized I had purchased a bag, a mystery bag from the
Hmm.
bin store, and it was filled with 12 snowy owl hangers for outside that have bells on them for your garden.
What?
You know what?
Really?
Yeah,
That's so
everybody
cool.
send me your address and I will mail you one because it was 12 of
Wow.
them.
Really? There were
That's
12
so
of them?
weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So I will
I
mail
just,
each one
and
of you one.
Wow.
thank you for saying that, Terry, because actually I have a list I could,
You can send it to me.
yeah, I could send it to you. I could send it to you
Perfect.
because I just sent a little bit of something off to everybody
Oh,
today. So you may not get it by Christmas, but there's some stones in there. And then you have to look up, there's these samples of these they're like really high vibe homeopathic creams. This company sent me all these sample packets of, but the company is called Uriel, which is the archangel of the north, Uriel, and they're if you go on their website for the company, you can look up what their remedies are because they use the different remedies, but they have like the anthroposophical medicine has a different use for a lot of the different things. I sent you guys some packets of those and some
Wow, cool.
stones in there. I went to when I was in Ocala teaching, there's a stone store, and it's so funny. The last time I was up there, I must have gotten their address wrong or the street wrong because I tried to go by it I thought they had shut down. But it's in this really conspicuous old Victorian house. It's painted pink and purple. And when I was up there this time, I looked them up again and it was there. And I drove to it. And the guy behind the counter, I was looking around and I was like, well, let me get everybody a stone. And he was like, oh, I have just the thing for you. And he pulled out this little cardboard box. And he's like, I'll sell you this whole box for like $20. And it was just mixing and matching all these stones. So there's several stones that I sent, but everybody, there was a stone in there, and I'm not sure what it was, but there was a whole pile of them, and I sent everybody one. And it's if some of them are more green, I think it's green jasper. Some of them look almost black, but if you hold them up to the light a certain way, you'll see they're partially dark green and partially black.
Wow.
So,
Cool.
Sounds
so you
beautiful.
guys are going to be getting that in the mail.
Yay, Christmas.
Yay, Christmas
thank you.
time. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Cool.
All right. So if anybody else has anything to say, yeah, Stathia.
How do we find? Because I don't think I did it last year, but how do we find you? You're drawing the cards.
The Yuletide.
Yeah.
Go to my Substack. Um, let me put it in the chat. I may have it under paste anymore. Just go to my Substack, drjosie.substack.com, and it's going to ask you to subscribe and you can get just a monthly paid subscription is $15, and the paid subscription, then that'll give you access to the messages. And then at the end of the month, you can just like unsubscribe. So you don't get charged anything else. Um, and they'll be if you, with a paid subscription they're going to be coming in the email that you put in there. You'll get an email newsletter every day with the message, and then you can also go to my Substack page, and at the top there's a header there. The old ones are up there from last year as well, so you can compare. So it says Yuletide messages 2024 and Yuletide messages 2025, so that, and I have some intro messages there as well, so you can find them there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna put out a request to everybody to put out some good positive energy for Josie and me for this because I will tell you, a lot of people think that, oh, you're just sitting there talking. But I'm here to tell you,
It's a lot.
incredibly energy draining to get these messages. I mean,
It's a lot.
it
Yeah,
really
that's
is.
why I was really down. I was like thinking I wasn't sure I was going to do it this year. But then, I mean, and then everybody, there's certain people like, no, you do it. And then I've actually, I was in a group of witches last night and they were like, oh no, this is amazing. So yeah, I think it goes back to the thing, Norma, of all these people thinking, oh, I just have a quick question for you. I just have a quick question for you. And the freebies on Facebook and the let me find the miracle cure on Facebook for free. That knowledge does not come for free. It does not come for free.
I get it all the
We go
time.
through, yeah, and it's not for free anymore. It's not for free anymore. If you went to a shaman and you went to a medicine person way back in the day, and you really needed help, you'd be leading your best horse in behind you and handing that shaman the reins of that horse. Or you might take in your best laying hen, or you might take in the harvest from your garden or something else in exchange for the healing and for the
Yeah.
knowledge.
Right.
And that's just the way it works. I'm actually, I did something really cra unbelievably. I joined a mastermind group of house call veterinarians and concierge veterinarians. And it's actually been really, really good. And it's the first time in my life I have been in a group of veterinarians that is actually everybody's being helpful and peaceable with one another and generous with ideas and times. There's still a little bit of the nitpicking, but I'll tell you, as a group, they pick out type A people to go to vet school, and I've just stayed away from most vets most of my entire career. But it's actually helped because we're boosting each other up. And we go through a lot to become a veterinarian. We go through a hell of a lot. And it's like going to one of the worst fraternities in the world and being hazed for 4 years, and then being told you're a piece of shit because you don't know this or this or this. So it's a lot of that's coming to light. I mean, I'm going back and healing a lot of that, but I'm also realizing a lot of the things I've gone through in my life, like Norma said, with the teachers, their initiations, and some of the times the hardest things we go through in our life are our initiations to get us to that next level, and our tests to see how we're going to handle ourselves through something really difficult. So, and I think all of us are older women here too, and we've all gone through a whole bunch of shit. Like you know, we've all got our stories, but it enabled us to be the strong women we are. And when we called in, if we just think about our circle, all of those amazing women that have come before us that lent us their strength and their wisdom and their knowledge. It's pretty amazing. So we have all that behind us. And I don't think just hearing everybody describe who they were calling into the circle was really beautiful and amazing tonight. So just re-listening to that alone I think would be really good for all of us. You know? Yeah.
And you know what, Becky, I have to say, I don't know who said in the very beginning that you looked lovely, but you do look especially lovely tonight.
Doesn't she?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry
You
looks
have that
lovely every
red
night.
on. You have that red, like,
Oh, this. So this
yeah.
is the coolest thing. My girlfriend made it for me, and it slips over.
Oh.
And I
Ooh.
forget what they call them, but it is like it's so incredibly warm. And over your shoulders, it comes up the back of your neck,
Oh,
and
wow.
you know, I
So
it's
it's kind of
really
like a
weird. It's kind of
poncho
like it's
almost.
kind of like
Oh.
and she knitted it herself, and it's got this tight band. I think it's part of why I was so warm, but I very rarely.
They wear things like that over in Ireland, and they have different types of scarves and things that you can wear to keep yourself warm, but at the same time have I think it's to have
Arms are
our
free.
arms
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
to work. Because
Yeah.
women, we're always doing stuff, right? We're always working or picking up babies or washing clothes or dishes or, you know,
Chasing the sheep.
fixing the sheep, milking the sheep or the
Oh,
goats or what,
Yep.
you know, what have you.
that
Yeah.
inspires me. I think that's going to be my winter knitting project.
Mm,
I haven't
Yeah,
knit.
I should get her to give me her
the
pattern because she
pattern.
like it's
Yeah.
the she made it for me a few years ago and I love this thing.
I
It's
can see
just
why.
on a night where you want something warm, it's just so easy. And then I have my dog Christmas shirt on that I got at the
Oh,
winery. I don't know if you could see it.
Oh yeah.
oh
It's
yeah,
I
I
love
know.
it.
I went to a winery, and that was their shirt for Christmas was these two dogs with this old truck. Tomorrow
Oh,
is my
that's cute.
first day in all of December that I am not leaving
Gosh.
the house. I am
It's your
hanging out
birthday
in
tomorrow?
first day
It's your
tomorrow. It has been
oh,
crazy. This has just been,
oh,
but
the first day.
starting tomorrow and until after New Year's, I don't care if I leave my home.
I'm with you,
I'm
Carol.
done.
Good for you.
I
Happy
Good
am
for you.
birthday.
done. I'm just done. And I am so looking forward to it.
Is it
Just
your
getting outside.
birthday or the first day? Is it your actual birthday
No,
tomorrow?
it is my
The
birthday
first
is
day.
in June 25th. And
Oh,
so
okay.
December 25th is my half year, whatever,
Okay.
what do you call it? Like when you, and so
Yeah.
I just pretend like, okay, it's 6 months since my birthday. And this is my birthday present to myself. I'm just going to like hang out at home. I mean, I
Um,
wrapped a bunch of presents for the little kids in our life and whatever, and had Christmas music on and did that. But we have been on the go between, things that I really, that we do for not really for me, right? But this is now changing tomorrow. It's
good.
Mother's Night, and
Good.
from now until the 3rd of January or whatever, if I have to leave the house, I mean, we're stocked up in our fridge. We went to our CSA. We
Perfect.
had the most incredible CSA today that we picked up.
Oh,
And we don't need anything. I mean, I've got everything from salmon to pork to
yum.
Danish sausages made for Christmas morning. And I mean, it was like
Oh,
this package of goods. And I got raw milk to last me till January 3rd from the raw milk guy up
I
there.
think I'm gonna make eggnog this year. For one, I think this is coming from my mother because she used to make homemade eggnog. And
Yeah.
I went and picked up raw milk, raw cream, heavy
Yep.
cream,
Yep.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And then I got
mm,
my favorite bourbon. I walked in. I have been looking for
mm.
this one bourbon that I absolutely love, and I haven't found it. It's like, and if you find it, it's like $150 or whatever. I
Oh
walked
shit.
in to the market today up in Buellton because I was going in there to get oranges for fresh squeezed orange
Mm,
juice. They supposedly had organic oranges. So I
mm.
go in there and I walk, and there's a display right in front of me of my favorite Blantons with the horse, has a horse on the top of the bottle.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
And it's
called
normally like $150.
Blanson's?
It was $65 today for
Wow.
and they have a giant display. And I'm like, is this like heaven? Because that's what I'm gonna do.
Wow. Well,
Eggnog
what
is
kind
in
of
my
bird?
eggnog with a shot of Blanton's.
Eggnog.
I'm not going
Yeah.
anywhere. I'm
Ooh, that
happy.
sounds really good. That sounds really,
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
Sounds awesome.
It is time. We're
Yeah.
there. I got my car
Yep.
back though from being. Remember, I got
Oh,
smashed
yeah.
Right.
and I got my car fixed. So I
You've
got
had a
that back
crazy
yesterday.
time.
Huh?
You've had a crazy
Oh, it's
time
been
with the,
just so weird. But I'm here still.
there you go.
I have more to
No.
do. I have more to do. And what's weird is I saw all of that, and it's just now driving. I had this little piece of shit car for from the insurance, for the
Mm,
and it was so small that I made a joke that like if that semi truck crashes into me, they're just gonna bury me in that thing because it's like a
no,
coffin. It's like
don't.
this little dinky thing. And I had a vision of my dad who came through, and my car wasn't supposed to be finished until Tuesday, and I drove it down to Southern California. That was on what day was that? A couple days ago, and I left at 5 in the morning. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what time you're on the freeway, right? And I'm now like paying even more attention because I mean, I saw this
Yeah.
woman, but this is
You're
freeway and this is
paranoid.
crazy. And I get these two semi trucks and I'm in this little car and I
Oh
can
my
look
God.
underneath them. That's how low to the ground this car was. And I'm like, I'm like,
Effing-
that took me back to an accident that I witnessed um, right when I was out of pharmacy school, where this little car and these old people got pulled underneath the big rig, and they did not make it. And it took me into that, and then I heard my dad, "Honey girl, that car is you shouldn't be driving that car or whatever." And then they called
No.
me. I got home, and within 2 hours, my car was finished. And I go, "Well, thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know you did something there." So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so crazy. It's literally it's a good time to be at home right now. Just let
Yeah,
everybody
it
do all
is. It
their.
is.
I can't imagine
Oh,
what it's going to be like.
the road rage down here is out of
Uh,
control. I've got to learn how to button my lips and everything else. I mean,
yeah,
there are people that are stopping and getting out and
yeah,
like beating on other people's cars.
yeah.
Like
It's
I'm like, wow, it's too
yeah,
much.
yeah.
People are like,
There's a lot
you
of anxious
know,
people. There's a lot of
a
angst
lot.
right now. And then the holidays is supposed to be this lovely, jolly, whatever. And people, where are you going? What is your big, they're cutting in and out
Yeah.
like this. And
Yeah.
you see them again in 3 minutes and you're like, well, where did you go? After all that crazy
Yeah.
maneuvering. And, I don't need it right now. I'm just like done with all of that. So it's home
Yeah.
time.
It
Becky,
is.
your description of the car reminded me years ago when they came out with some little teeny car. I don't remember what it was, but my mother looked at it and she said, "Oh my God, it's like riding in a pregnant roller skate." And and
Yeah.
that's exactly what.
Yeah. I mean, it was supposed to be a
Yeah.
standard car, and when I got to Enterprise Rent a Car, they had one car on the lot, one. And I'm
Yeah,
looking at
they're
that thing,
all
and I
the
go, "That
rental
cannot be
cars.
my standard car." And he goes, "That's all we got." The whole
Uh,
not what it used to be either, but
no,
um, it's in the past. It's done, and my car's lovely, and I'm
good.
back in action, and
Yeah, because your car was the one, I forget what you drove, but when we drove around in it, it's sturdy. It's
oh,
good.
thank
It's
God,
so
right?
safe.
I mean,
Yeah.
and she bound. I mean,
Mm.
I saw her coming. I was stopped, and she just sideswiped, but she did the whole side.
Uh,
So that it's got to just be. And I was like, Is it? And there was really no damage. There's damage to the bumper. There's damage to the paint. But
a body.
they did a beautiful job fixing it, and it
Oh, well,
feels
that's
like
good.
after being in that little thing on wheels, after being in that, and like being like looking like this underneath
Mm-mm.
trucks to see cars, I'm like I feel like I'm in a
Mm-mm.
car now, like a something that's more protective. That was, and I was 12 hours in Southern California. Holy God, I couldn't get rid of that car fast enough. I'm telling you,
Oh my
people
God.
that drive
Oh
in
my
those little
God.
things every day, it's like,
No,
I,
when I drove
holy,
my mom, any car that's low to the ground, I can't do. That's why I've got
yeah.
to I
Yeah, it felt like
and they people don't see you. They'll just like come
no,
over. They don't see those little cars either. And it's nutty. Yeah.
it's pretty, and the
But
wheels on them, they look like a toy. They're
yeah.
like, I'm like, what size tire is that thing? It looks like a toy.
Yeah.
And I had to do what I had to do, and then my dad got my car fixed for me because when I
Good.
watched that accident, I was driving down to see my dad at work. And I watched those people get sucked underneath that big rig. And then when I had two of them on the side of me, I just heard his voice like,
Mm,
"What are you doing in that little thing?" And I'm like, it was the only car, and blah, blah, blah. And I literally got home and the phone rang and my car was done. It was done 4 days early. And I think it
wow,
was
that's
because it
awesome.
was so warm out that the paint kind of dried or whatever. But
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of miracles going on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of miracles going on right now.
Yeah.
So there's magic
Yeah.
happening, and we just need to stay out of the riffraff of it
And
all.
Yeah, I'm done. I've had it. I'll
Yeah.
wait until all the everything dies down and whatever.
Yeah.
They brought in a cruise ship today, and 7 days ago everybody on that cruise ship was sick with norovirus. So they brought the cruise ship into Santa Barbara, and
That's what happened down here. That's why I was vomiting and sick because of that
so
fucking
it
virus.
used to be they had to quarantine the boat, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
our stupid, um, what do they call these doctors that are the head of the guys that locked us all down and whatever? We have one guy left from all that, and the guy is so dumb. I remember when he tried to get a job at the hospital. I was in on an interview committee, and they didn't let him, get they didn't let him come in to be on our staff at the hospital because he was like, he's now our director of what do they call
Oh,
that, you
Jesus.
guys? The director of
The Human Health and Human
yeah,
Services or
Health and Human
something.
Services, and
Yeah,
the guy
HHS.
he let everybody off
Wow.
come into Santa Barbara off the boat, and we're like, wait. Norovirus, if it breaks out, don't you have to lock everybody down? He allowed everybody to walk and shop in downtown Santa Barbara. This guy is so, I mean, I'm like, all right, well, I'm certainly not going downtown to do anything. You
Oh,
used to
God.
have to quarantine that. And how
Yeah.
did they
They
clean the,
quarantined the. Did you see? This is gross, but I have to say it. I was flipping through YouTube just to see, okay, what's going on. Some woman, there was an American Airlines jet that took off and had to turn around and land because one of the people on board was running to get to the bathroom and had diarrhea. It was probably norovirus, had diarrhea all the way down the middle aisle of that plane. And all you saw was people holding cloth over their noses trying to breathe. And they
Right.
had like, oh my God.
Can't even
So
imagine.
well, yeah,
you
any
flying
outbreak,
these days? I'm like, I'm not in any hurry to get back on a plane anymore. Oh my God.
If my
yeah,
car, my bicycle, my feet, or my
It's
horse can't
bad.
get me there, I
It's
don't need
really
to
bad.
go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And everything is just, how do they clean? How do they clean that airplane so it doesn't go again? How do they clean this
They
gigantic
showed
ship
them
in
in,
4 days so that
they
it doesn't
showed,
have norovirus
yeah,
or
you
whatever? How do
don't.
they let it out in 4 days to come to somebody else's port? There's no
Oh,
way
they
that can
let
be
it
clean.
out in 4 days?
Yeah. They had the outbreak, and 4 days later, that boat was here letting people come into Santa Barbara. Come on into the downtown. We
Well,
just,
see, if
what
they
we
had
do.
fluorine dioxide, they could have done it, but
Yeah.
that's about the only thing I can think of.
And then they have to have a cleaning crew
Steam
that's going to
cleaning
go
it.
through
Yeah.
and do all the doorknobs, all the countertops, or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
because
They showed the
the
plane. They were in biohazard suits. There were dudes in biohazard suits with some kind of spray nozzles just going through the
And what
plane.
the
But
hell
would
are
you
they
want to get on that plane?
spraying?
Exactly. What are they spraying?
That's the
But
problem. Yeah.
yeah,
uh, yeah.
yeah.
I'm just
Welcome.
saying, stay home, stay
Stay home.
cozy. Yeah.
Get
Be
warm.
comfortable.
Go
Yeah.
into the cave. I'm going to go back in my cave for
Exactly.
sure. I'm going to be back in that cave
Exactly.
for sure. Anyway,
Yeah.
Merry
All
Christmas,
right, you guys.
everybody,
Yeah,
and
Yes.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
We're gonna be doing the Yuletide things. So I'm probably not gonna have the meditations either. So we'll
yeah, I don't
just do
blame you. Just take
Yuletide
time for you,
and
Josie. Get time for
yes.
you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 But we'll
We
read
all
you
need
every
it.
day. We'll think of you every day as we're
There you
reading about our
go.
animals, you guys. And
Yes. Thank you for
I'm
the
looking
messages
forward
in
to it.
advance.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Definitely.
if anybody doesn't like the messages, you can send a message to the animal, not to Josie and me, okay?
No, I took Joe Rogan's advice. I don't read comments anymore on Facebook, Instagram, or Substack.